And we are live. Hello there, and how's everybody doing this afternoon? Alrighty then. So, guys, if you came here today to see old Shaney discuss our favorite lizard, our favorite dinosaur, our favorite monster kaiju, you're in the right place. Because I'm excited for this. I've been excited to talk about Godzilla for a while because Godzilla's my jam, and monster movies are my jam. So I'm all excited for that. But as well, guys, on the slate, I plan on discussing the Thundercats film, and why it relates to Godzilla is because for people who may not know, the director, what's his name, Adam Wingard. I have it in my notes here. Adam Wingard. I don't know. I just can't remember his name. The director, Adam Wingard, is set to direct this film and a couple of other films as well. So we'll be discussing some of that shortly. So thank you guys for joining me. I see Saggy Melons. Saggy Melons is already here, or has been here. Saggy Melons. I don't know why I have a hard time saying your name. I feel like I have the feminist police after me just for saying it. Just like, Saggy Melons, how dare you say that? That's misogynistic. And I'm just gonna be like, I didn't do it. Somebody made me say it. But anyway, love the name. No, there's no hater in the game. So guys, before I also start, I want to discuss my last video and YouTube, which kind of got me a bit upset, as people may have waited for it, because I had some people who were looking forward to me watching me doing, or Skeletor doing a reaction to Robot Chicken. It was a popular one that for my channel was pretty popular. I had a couple of people asking me to redo it and to do another one, and unfortunately, YouTube wouldn't have any of it. YouTube didn't want nothing to do with that. So what can I say? YouTube blocked it, and there's been a lot of videos of mine that haven't reached potential and have been blocked lately, and it's been kind of irritating me because I see bigger channels getting away with things, and I don't know how they're getting away with it. Like Zack Snyder, I got a claim from YouTube for doing a Skeletor react to the Snyder cut, like not the movie itself, but the trailer. I got a claim for that, and I'm like, dude, it's a trailer. They post it there for free for everyone to see. Isn't that the whole point, is to get the trailer to get people to see it? And I said nothing but good things, so I don't understand why I got a claim on that. YouTube is starting to really it's starting to get on my last nerve, and I think I'm going to have to retaliate against it soon. So look for my next commercial video coming out soon to be directly towards YouTube, because that's all I can stand. I can't stand no more. Paul Hickey, how are you doing? You said disappointed Godzilla and Kong weren't fighting over the wishing stone. They might as well have been. I mean, let's be honest. The plot wouldn't have changed, and I don't think anyone would have liked it any more or any less if it was. The wishing stone. Yeah, that would have been just funny, wouldn't it? Well, you couldn't get any sillier than it was, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because for me, this movie silliness is fine. It's fine for a kaiju film. It's fine for a monster movie of this ilk. But I mean, there's really, it's like, if we want to just get I'll just get into it, because I'll tell you right now, I liked the film a lot. I liked it. I might have even said I liked the film. I didn't love it, but I liked it. So I didn't love it. I liked it, and I'm going to tell you guys, I'm a huge Godzilla fan, like massive Godzilla fan. Godzilla for me is like my little guilty pleasure. I've watched it 100 zillion times, and it just keeps getting better every single time I see it. Because I don't care. I don't care about the campiness. I don't care about the silliness. And in fact, I actually kind of want more campy, more silly in my monster films. I hate when they start getting too bogged down with characters and oh, we need to have this character needs to have a character moment, and I don't care. I don't want to see it. You're just going to take away from the dinosaurs fighting and or doing stuff. It all depends on the one it is, right? Like if it's a true monster film where Godzilla is supposed to be imposing and terrifying, that's then yeah, you got to make him imposing and terrifying, and that needs setup. That needs you need to sort of set up some characterization so that you can sort of feel for these characters in order for that fear to also come into you because you want to relate through the characters, which I will say was a problem in this film a little bit, and I will mention I did have a little issue with that. This film, I think, Paul Heggie said, this film, I think, was the most fun out of the American versions. Yeah, for sure. To me, it's not even close. I mean, the first one was like Godzilla was on camera for what, 8 minutes in total in the whole 2 hour something runtime. Like Godzilla, every time Godzilla was about to fight the monster, then they remember that big scene where Godzilla was about to finally fight, and then they just shut the doors, like psych. Like, no, what do you mean psych? You don't. That's what we're here to see. And you just like shut the door, like you're gonna, like this was a movie trailer. They didn't want to spoil it, dude. We want to see that. Don't shut it down. And then in Godzilla, the second one, I think the King of Monsters. Him versus King Ghidorah. What bothered me about that one was I loved the amount of monsters. I loved the fact there was a lot of monsters and a lot of monster fighting, but like everything was in the dark and all the fighting sequences were chaotic and messy. And you couldn't, hey, Decepticon King, how's it going, my friend? I'm the Autobot King. I love the Autobots. I also love my Decepticons too. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, like they was just too much. The atmosphere was crazy. There was rain and snow and they keep jumping. One of the things I will say, and we'll get into this more after, but the fact that the monsters constantly are jumping from one country to the next, I have a problem with that specifically because it takes you kind of out of it. But I'll get more into that. Paul, I think the King of Monsters tried to jam too much material into one film. 100% agree. Death by Saber, my buddy. How you doing, my friend? Thank you very much for joining me. For taking the time out of your day to see my visage. It was extremely chaotic, and I'm even okay with chaos as long as the chaos is visible, right? And the problem with that was that all these up close shots and quick cuts made it so that you couldn't really see the action. And that's one of the things that this movie did extremely well, which was doing the long shots. You can actually see and properly lit. So you could and they did the lighting very retro 80s with the neon lights of the buildings reflecting. So you could see, and a lot of daytime fighting too. So you could see the action really close and really well. And that's one of the things that makes this movie so much fun, is that you didn't feel cross-eyed at the end of the movie going, I think I saw monsters fighting, but all I see was hair. It was like, you ever see a cat fight in the middle of the road? That was what King of Monsters was to me. Just a cat fight in the middle of the road that you knew the cats are fighting, but they're just moving too fast. You just can't see it. Panda power. He's got the power, guys, just like He-Man. The power of pandas. That's got to be a movie coming up soon. Panda powers, or any kind of cartoon or something. So yeah, guys. So I really enjoyed the film. I will say, I liked how he followed King Kong. That was sort of the thing that I was wondering, because I'm not a big King Kong guy. I'm a Godzilla guy, and as much as I'm a Godzilla guy, I just wasn't sure if I was going to, and I knew the trailer was sort of setting up King Kong to be sort of the main protagonist, and I wasn't sure I was going to enjoy that because I'm not a big King Kong fan. I liked the movie Kong, but I'm just not a huge fan of him, and so I kind of wasn't sure if I could jive with him being the main protagonist. Yes, this movie was Decepticon King says, yes, this movie was awesome. It wasn't monsters. That movie. where you can't see nothing, which is what I just said, or it wasn't even like I Am Nights and San Juan's movie to work the aliens. You can't ever see them. Yes, 100%. That's a big problem with a lot of Wonder Woman 1985. They have one stupid action sequence that from the main two villains. I mean, from the main two characters that you want to see fight, Cheetah versus Wonder Woman, and the whole thing is in the dark and in the sky and chaotic. And it was a small little sequence like that, right? Just what was it like? Not even a 5-minute scene. That one little scene in the film, and you couldn't see anything. It was just so dark and chaotic. And it's like, here you have an entire movie where two giant monsters are throwing each other through buildings and all this chaos, and we saw pretty much everything. So, yeah. Now, I will say that I was extremely happy with King Kong in this. I didn't think I was going to like him as much as I did, and they really, I think what this movie did a lot well was also take away the human element from things, because I'm so sick of movie directors thinking we always have to fall. We cannot see ourselves in anything else other than people. Look, we can relate to everything. You know, we related to the dogs in the 100 Dalmatians. We can relate to Crab, Sebastian from Disney movies, but we can't relate to Kong or Transformers. You know, humans have a way of relating to anything as long we can relate to bloody cars. They're cars with faces. And we can relate to cars, you know, as long as that, but we can't somehow relate to these. So we always have to have the human element, you know. Forget the human element in this. And I'm like, that's one thing I did appreciate, that he did have human elements, which were kind of the worst parts of this film, was following Millie Bobby Brown and the Funky Bunch doing whatever the heck they were doing, which I still don't get. And everyone else to just doing their little thing to sort of keep the storyline going, but really the main protagonist was Kong, and you felt scared. And as much as I love Godzilla, they did set it up for the fact that I was terrified every time Godzilla. I was like, dude, Kong, just bow, please, bow. I don't want you to hurt. I don't like you much. I don't want to see you mangled. So please just bow. Would you just bow? Rob's Rules here. Rob's Rules. How's it going, my friend? Like the stream, save the dream. That's right. I like to save the dream. He's on a crusade to save Johnny Depp, or side with Johnny Depp in that whole thing. So that's what Rob's all does. So guys, follow Rob if you guys want to see up to date stuff on the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation. Disappointed there was no after credit scene. But I heard a rumor that was Space Godzilla tease. You know what? I was actually thinking about that, Paul. I was thinking about what would they go next with it, because, you know, because I will say I was a bit disappointed that they combined the two films. And what I mean by combine the two films was, for people who aren't familiar with Godzilla lore, you know, Godzilla versus King Kong is one film. And Mechagodzilla is a whole other thing. And so the fact that they combined two types of films, which was Kong versus Godzilla, and then incorporated Mechagodzilla into it, which I didn't hate, but I kind of would have liked to have seen a Mechagodzilla have his own movie, and you could have kept it going longer. Maybe you could have had intervention from a third monster, some other third random monster that they had to sort of join forces with. Just because I like Mechagodzilla so much, and that's one of a little gripe that I have with this is that, I didn't really much care for the look of Mechagodzilla in this, although I can forgive it. But the other thing I didn't like was that Mechagodzilla only comes, spoiler alert, guys, I'm going to say a few spoilers here, comes at the end. And so that fight sequence sort of like comes at the end. I kind of would have liked to have happened that happened a little earlier than when it did happen. So it's kind of like, it's the same problem. I don't know why these movies have to cram in so much crap. It's like, it's the same thing with Batman v Superman. It's like you have Batman v Superman. That's its own thing. Leave it at that. You know, why is it that we have this Batman v Superman? You can have a third villain come in, but then you had to cram in, what's his name? Always get Darkseid and him confused. The names, Death, Doomsday. They had to cram in Doomsday. into it. And I'm like, dude, why are you cramming Doomsday? Now you have to have this, now your Doomsday is its own film. Why are you doing that? You're already blowing your wad before you get a chance to. You gotta slather yourself a little bit. Don't blow your wad in the first 5 minutes. That Mechagodzilla was too OP. I think for me, as like I've always liked Mechagodzilla, but for people who don't realize, because a lot of people are like, well, this was kind of silly, like the whole fact of you have of course the evil corporation wants to create him. In the original Mechagodzilla, as I can recall, Mechagodzilla was a creation from an alien race that came down, who much like Doomsday, again DC comparisons, much like Doomsday or Darkseid, sorry, didn't want to fight against, knew he couldn't fight against Godzilla. He had to fight against Godzilla they had to fight against Godzilla in order to conquer the Earth, and instead they had to find a way to destroy Godzilla, so they can conquer the planet. So what they did was they created, using the bones of the first Godzilla, remember the original Godzilla from the 1950s. They took the bones from the original Godzilla as a skeletal system, I think they used a skeleton and then built around it in order to create a Godzilla, Mechagodzilla, to fight Godzilla. And Godzilla had to team up with a few other monsters in order to beat Mechagodzilla. I think it was Rodan, and I think I can't remember that other porcupine character that Godzilla used to beat up a few times. But yeah, it was a silly premise, but and that's why I think in this movie they were like, let's get rid of the aliens and let's just make a corporation. So as much as people think this one is silly, just know the original was far sillier. And I think I appreciate him kind of sticking to lore a little bit. I know he didn't stick completely, but even the jets that everyone was complaining about, all these silly planes, and I'm like, yeah, they're silly, but if you look at, there was a Godzilla force in actual Mechagodzilla, and the Godzilla force had silly planes that were fighting Godzilla. So there was all kinds of stuff that were just crazy. Anyway, Paul Hickey, very Transformers-ish, space titanium. That's Kiryu, Angelus, and what is that? Angelus. I'm not sure what Angelus is. I have to go back because I haven't seen them for a long time, so I don't know the names of these alien races, if that was what you're saying. As far as very Transformers-ish, here's the thing. Transformers, for me, everyone also makes the comparisons to Transformers and say, why do people forgive this and don't forgive Transformers? Well, Transformers made $1 billion, so there are people who did like Transformers. I wasn't one of them, to be honest. And I will say this for the comparison of Transformers versus Godzilla, and the reason why people have less tolerance for Transformers. Number one, Transformers, this sticks to the look of Godzilla. Well, while Godzilla's had plenty of looks, have been many looks, and they at least stuck to a look that, maybe some people liked it, some people didn't. I mean, he was a bit bloated in the first movie. I always found him. Oh, thanks, man. Paul Hickey, he just, Angelus was the spiky friend he used to beat up all the time. It's true. He never appeared. He was a big part of Godzilla lore, and he never appeared yet in any of these movies, which is interesting. But anyway, like I was saying, Godzilla and Transformers, I think the difference was that when Michael Bay introduced the Transformers, they looked like a pile of junk. And I think that was the first sort of thing where like, we weren't relatable in the fact that they just looked like piles of junk for me as a person who loved Transformers growing up. Optimus Prime didn't look like Optimus Prime. Sounded like Optimus Prime, which confused the senses because I'm like, it sounds like him. It doesn't look like him. Bumblebee didn't look like Bumblebee. None of them looked like the way they were supposed to. And so there was that. But as far as the action is another concern with Transformers, where the Transformers action is extremely chaotic and gets worse as the movies go on. And Michael Bay's just explosions for the sake of explosions, and just it was so hard to watch and so hard to keep track of, especially like the first one was okay. And I think Steven Spielberg still had some say in that. But then the more Michael Bay got power, the more just chaotic everything was. Things that shouldn't explode. It was like making fun of like The Simpsons, making fun like a tree explodes for no reason. Just like what's going on here? That's another problem I find with those movies. Where this movie, and another thing too, they tried to create a situation in which Transformers could exist. Trying to still keep it within a frame of reality. I think Godzilla, when we go into a kaiju film, from just when we hear about a kaiju film in the trailer, and then we go pay our ticket to go watch the movie, we're already paying the ticket to say, I know I'm going to see nonsense, so I'm fine with that. Because Godzilla in and of itself is a giant lizard in the middle of Tokyo, destroying everything in its path, and that you kind of have to suspend disbelief a whole lot just to pay the tickets. And so, since you've paid the tickets, you've pretty much said, I'm okay with anything they do, which is pretty silly. And I don't want to be reality or real. Yeah, and also the original had, like Rob said, guys fighting in rubber suits, which is interesting because people may not know this. They had thought about Toho did think about making, because they saw King Kong, right? And they were like, well, King Kong did clay animation. And they decided to not go the clay animation route. They thought about going the clay animation route and decided the guy in a rubber suit was way better, and making little sets was better. It was an actual choice, not for financial reasons. It was actually a choice for aesthetics, and they kept with that. Apollo Patriot said Godzilla was versus Kong. I heard the SJWs hated that movie because it made so much money. But hail Greek mythology, and I love my blue Tweakle women hail. I don't know anything about. It's funny because if you want to make the argument for SJWs, you can. Because if you want to say, like, this movie kind of has an overarching feminist theme to it, which is kind of subtle, but not so subtle in the fact that if you notice that all the female characters were sort of pleading and being nice and sort of being like pleading with the male characters in this film. And at the same, to just like be nice, can we get along, believe there's good in him, and all the male characters were just sort of like slapping their penises on the table and like measuring their penises, because that's what this whole film is just males measuring penises, and people want to say, that's just an example of male testosterone misogyny, just whipping, because really, what was the movie about? It was about King Kong and Godzilla, having like, just pretty much saying, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. Right. And then you had the man, the millionaire going, no, I'm the best. And that was this whole. So if you want to take that argument and say, hey, it was basically a male testosterone fight fest. And, I could agree with that. But luckily, though, there wasn't that much, nut cracking in this, which I was very happy for, because you can't watch anything. I wasn't sure if they, nowadays you can't be too sure. Godzilla could be King Kong could eventually just be a transgender for some reason, or make some random monster that just that's no longer a male, he's a female or whatever. Just do some nonsense stuff like they do now, just to change it up. But anyway, to throw their little SJW sort of stuff into this, which they didn't, and I'm glad for that. What else? So I said a lot of positive things, but I'm gonna say a few. I'm gonna say a few negative things that I will say about this film. The negative that I found specifically, and I touched upon it a little bit. I hate the fact that they go from country to country, city to city. The fact that the final battle was in Hong Kong bothered me. Now, not the city in and of itself that bothers me. It's the fact that if you watch all the old Godzilla films, Godzilla predominantly fights in Tokyo, predominantly fights in Japan, right? He'll travel from city to city in Japan, but you pretty much follow, mostly in Japan. And when you have a centralized place like that, you start to feel for the characters. And I don't want to feel for the characters. I mean, you don't have to do that much character stuff. But what I mean by feel for the characters, I mean the feel for the people. You kind of like sort of you got one place, and you're sort of like usually it's a little boy and his family, or a scientist and some military guys. You don't spend too much time getting to know them in their life, but you spend enough time that you get to know them and their environment. You sort of becoming you become close to that. And so when you see and you become close to Tokyo, and you start getting sort of accustomed to Tokyo and accustomed to Japan. So then when Godzilla comes in and wrecks the place, you start feeling like, even if it's a fight, you start feeling, holy geez, like, that's that guy's house, or there's people in that building, even though we don't have to show every single person in the building, but a couple of shots where people are running for dear life, or somebody on a subway where, Godzilla's like tossing the subway around, and, you feel very attached to a little bit attached to it, so that it's not just monsters destroying everything, and then there's no at all any emotional attachment to anything, which you need a little bit of emotion, because that's what makes a monster movie scary too, is the fact that, yeah, they're fighting, and here we are, people watching this, but I didn't get to know Hong Kong, and Hong Kong was for Chinese viewers. Cough. I mean, yeah, I could say that probably, but at the same time, I don't really care if it's in Hong Kong, or if it's in New York, or if it's in anywhere. As long as we got to know a people from a specific city, and know the city itself a little bit, and sort of become adopted city, right, for us. And then when we see our city becoming destroyed, it means a little more. And again, we don't have to actually feel for any individual character, but if we are based in a specific central city, we feel for that city being destroyed. And they were just I was watching buildings just drop, and like, dude, are there people in that building? That's like a few thousand people dead just like that, and nobody cared, and they didn't like even show one scared. There was like one after scene when the fight was over, you finally see like people like running with soot all over their face. I'm like, but we never very rarely showed people running from anything. That was my biggest gripe, because I want to see. I would have liked to have seen a few scenes like that. But that was his choice, and it's a very bloated, like a lot of things happening in the film. So it's one of those things that you kind of have to cut things. Maybe he did have scenes like that, and the studio cut them. So I don't know. Can't always blame the director for that. How Skull Island moved from near Vietnam to South Hawaii. They forgot the canon in their own series. There was a few things like that, wasn't there? A few changes that just nobody cared about, like the guy who was running in the last film. What was his name? The character that was the evil guy who was trying to destroy the world. He just vanishes now. He's no longer in it. He had the head of Monster Zero, and I guess he just sort of gave it away, or sold it to someone. Why am I wearing such a plain hat? Not have sheeny hat. PayPal. I don't advertise, man. I don't advertise for nobody. I like plain hats. I like clean hats. That's my thing. Thanks for asking, Dr. Eva. I've always liked plain hats. I like a clean look for my hats. That's my thing. I actually like plain shirts even better than stuff on my shirts. So there's that answers the age-old question. I like when someone said that they were going to go into maybe the next one, go into the alien thing or space, and I was thinking that too. What are the names of those two creatures that Godzilla fights? The one with the I always forget the names of the creatures. There was the one with the claws like that, and then there was the one with the chainsaw on his arms. And then there was that little robot character that he fought with. See, I would like to see that for the next part. I would like to see alien. Those were alien creatures. I think they took Godzilla to a planet and fought, as opposed to fighting on Earth. But probably have them fight on Earth, then go to a planet, and having them invade Earth. And I thought that would be an interesting one. And then have maybe humans took Mechagodzilla and built a robot like maybe from Pacific Rim looking character, and built a robot like a mech, not an actual real mech to help Godzilla would be kind of fun for the next one. How do you build a dome over Skull Island? And Kong just figured it out. So we were by the storm. If there's a dome, I don't think they built a. I don't think they built a. Am I wrong on this? Am I wrong? Did I miss something? I don't think they built a dome over Skull Island. What I thought they did was knock out Godzilla, take him somewhere else, and then build a dome over a different place, and used, I guess, Truman Show technology to trick him into that. Maybe they knocked him out and then took him out, with helicopters into another place. They never show any of that stuff. It's just stuff that just sort of happens. I really don't understand why they went that route. To be honest, it was kind of over. I think they went a little more complicated than they needed to with the whole thing. I do like the incorporation, though. I will say, of the under the earth stuff, because inside the center of the earth stuff, because I actually do like. I know it comes from a completely different mythology, and I know that Godzilla has the Monster Island, and Monster Island, which is in today's situation would be silly, because an island would probably be way too small, to house all those to hold all those monsters. And every time you'd see Monster Island in a Godzilla film, there was always giant monsters on an island, and it looked really awkward. What are they even eating on that island? So I kind of liked the center of the earth stuff, and I think that going forward could even bring more fun, storylines and stuff to it, especially for Kong. Kong figured out like Jim Carrey. Kong figured out like Jim Carrey. I don't know what that means, DBS, but all I know is I like my Jim Carrey, and I like my Kong. So maybe Kong would be like, "Hello there, and how are you doing this afternoon, Godzilla? Hey there, big fella. Are you trying to take down my old aircraft carrier?" "Oh, I don't think so, baby." Yeah, I liked how I felt for Kong. That's the one thing I will say. The biggest thing I loved was how I felt for Kong, and I really did feel terrified for Kong. And I did like. I'm gonna spoil it at the end. I know some people didn't like this, but I liked it. I liked how at the end, again, spoiler, didn't see it. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna let you know. The end. How Godzilla finally, shows his dominance, and then he could kill King Kong, and I liked that he didn't. He left him. He did sort of kill him, but he didn't deliver the finishing blow, which means he was never out to kill him. He was just out to dominate. And I think Kong, being as sort of stubborn as he was, because he just he was almost like Godzilla's like, stay down, call me who's your daddy? Who your daddy? Godzilla, who's your daddy? And then King Kong just wouldn't, he was stubborn. He just wouldn't submit. So, Godzilla had to land the finishing blow, had to land a blow that was decisive. And then at the end, having, King Kong just revived. For those of us who had a heart attack, and not me, but I know people who've had a heart attack and think you just get up and start fighting right after. It ain't happening in real life, guys. Nobody's having a heart attack getting, just shocked alive, and then suddenly they're out fighting. It ain't happening. But yeah, it was. And then, so I did like the battle between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. That was fun, although I do think Godzilla should have. I think it was a little quick. That's my biggest thing. It was a bit quick. I'd like to see Godzilla land a few more blows to Mechagodzilla, because it's not so one-sided, and they made it such a one-sided fight. It wasn't even funny. That kind of annoyed me. And then as one-sided as that fight was between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, I kind of was like, King Kong wouldn't have made a difference. He just wouldn't. If Godzilla couldn't stand up to him, King Kong, who just got his heart back together, wasn't going to make a difference. But, whatever. It was what it was. It was kind of a rushed ending, and so that's sort of my thing. Another sort of gripe with it. I would have liked to have seen, not gripe, these are nitpicks. I would have liked to have seen them fight more together. And then at the end, Godzilla, who wins the fight, and I've heard people say that because King Kong landed the decisive blow on Mechagodzilla, that by default King Kong was the true winner. I'm like, no, no. No, the bottom line was that I think Godzilla acknowledged King Kong as a rival, and I think King Kong also acknowledged that Godzilla was pretty much his better, and I think that's how the end was. I'll support you as my rival. I'll leave you alone. I won't fight you again because we know who the best one is. As long as you know that and I know that, I'll let you live. And so I kind of like that mutual exit. Everyone was like, Godzilla should have bowed his head to King Kong at the end for helping him, or maybe should have shook his hand, or maybe they should have made out. I don't know what you expected Godzilla to do. Godzilla's kind of a dick. I mean, I know people like, oh, Godzilla's a hero, but not really. Godzilla's never really been a hero. See, Godzilla, what I love about Godzilla is Godzilla does what Godzilla does for Godzilla's purposes. We're just sort of in the way. humans are just sort of like, Godzilla is territorial. The Earth is his. He's peed all over it. That's mine. Tokyo's mine. New York is mine. That's all Godzilla cares about. He doesn't like human beings getting so technologically advanced that they can challenge him. So every time they build a nuclear power plant or something, he destroys it, says, screw that. This is my world. Remember that. He's not interested in helping. He's not interested in being nice. He's not interested in being our friend. He's interested in what Godzilla's interested is in Godzilla being dominant. And that's all he cares about. And that's why he could once in a while run amok on the Earth, on human beings, because Godzilla is not here to help little boys and little children like King Kong is. And that's sort of who Godzilla is. He's a dick. He's a dick that helps us once in a while, and we kind of need him. If an alien invasion comes, Godzilla puffs out his chest and says, nuh-uh, don't go there, and fights. Kong needs to throw a dookie ball as a finishing move. As silly as that sounds, that would have been funny. Just to see King Kong just like a big giant pile of shit and have, just toss it into the eyes of Mechagodzilla. That would have been funny. Godzilla, pissing him off. That would have been funny. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a scene like that, as silly as that is. Hollow Earth. Paul Hickey says Hollow Earth was the tree cycle in The Nightmare Before Christmas. Each door opens of another world. Yeah, it was a little weird. It was a little weird how they introduced it. I do kind of wonder why they went that route. Again, needless explanation for no reason. I guess because it was an excuse to use their ships and show their technology. But I don't really think we needed the portal. Maybe he thought a portal would make sense considering we would have seen it before with technology. I don't know. But then again, that's all I think. I mean, there was a few moments like that where Godzilla burns through the soil to get at King Kong. And so I felt that kind of weird. See, that was one that I will say was like, because Godzilla knew King Kong was in the center of the earth somehow, but he didn't know he was in a dome. So I will say that was a bit silly. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff to nitpick if you want to sit here all day and nitpick. But I think we didn't come here to nitpick. I think we came here to the movie to just watch fights for monsters, and I'm okay with that. And yeah, we can nitpick at everything. We can nitpick at things all day. But I think the things that he did really well. Again, this is an indie director, guys. Like, he hasn't done much. I think he did. What did he do? He did some indie films, and this is like his first major blockbuster. And I really give Adam Wingard amazing name, by the way, Adam Wingard. I just like that name. Sounds like a name that should have its own film. The Amazing Tales of Adam Wingard. I really think that he did a great job for his first blockbuster film of this magnitude. I mean, and I think the fact that, like, again, he didn't fall into the trap that a lot of monster movies do, which is show nothing but his feet and his balls. Because I remember the first Godzilla film, in the 1997 one, I think, with Matthew Broderick. I mean, all we saw his balls. Just like, dude, like, I know you want to get a sense of scale, but we want to see a whole sense of scale from like let's show the entire thing. Like, we see a lot of, we could see some underground stuff and see his scrotum for a little while, but I don't want to watch a whole movie of his scrotum. I'm not that interested in Godzilla's scrotum. I don't know about you guys. Who built everything on Hollow Earth? who forged the Stormbreaker. Well, that was Thor, guys. Thor forged the Stormbreaker, of course. I guess there was intimated that an ancient civilization, perhaps, did it, and maybe who knows? Aliens could have been the Predators from Alien versus Predator. Maybe they'll combine those two universes: Alien versus Predator versus Godzilla. And I really want to see that film now. I just said it, and I want to see it. Godzilla versus Predator versus Aliens. I want to see that film. God damn it, make it happen. Make it happen. That would be just crazy. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? The trailer, Godzilla versus Aliens versus Predator versus Kong versus Chucky. Why not? Throw in Chucky. Well, that's pretty much the storyline for Ready Player Now. Yeah. Anyway, guys. So yeah, that's. I really enjoyed it. I liked it. I didn't, like I said, I liked it. I liked it, but I didn't love it. There was still some stuff that I thought could have been done a little better, but I'm excited for the next one, if there is a next one, and I really hope there is a next one. All right, now speaking of next ones, guys. Speaking of next, Death by Saber Hulk versus Godzilla. I think there was a comic Hulk versus Godzilla. I think if I'm not mistaken, somebody. I think there was a comic Hulk versus Godzilla. Somebody put that in. I think there was. Maybe I'm wrong. But I could have sworn it was a comic Hulk versus Godzilla, which to me, yeah, that'd be freaking incredible. Two nuclear, sort of, monsters fighting against each other. I think it could be fun. Maybe if they grow Godzilla, like maybe they grow grow the Hulk into a certain level with some technology. Godzilla meets Bambi. Yeah. Monty Python. Was that Monty Python? Where Godzilla just squishes Bambi, or was that something else? I remember Godzilla's foot being in Monty Python video movies all the time. Alien Queen is now Disney princess officially. Yep. She's got the veil on and everything. She's going to sing her song with the two mouths. But yeah. So guys, I don't know if you guys have heard this. This is something that I'm going to segue to. We could still talk about Godzilla and stuff, but this is what I want to just I want to segue to this because this director Adam Wingard has gotten some pretty good movies coming out as far as stuff that we remember. He's got Face Off. Who remembers Face Off? Nicolas Cage, and they're remaking it. Adam Wingard is supposed to be directing that. What was it? It was Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. I don't know why they thought Godzilla versus Kong, and then they thought, yeah, if you could direct Godzilla versus Kong, you could definitely direct Travolta versus Nicolas Cage. I don't know where that came in. Yeah, they're like the same. They're the same but different. I don't know if Face Off works today. I'll be honest with you. As far as the film, when I heard it, I'm just like, I think what made it work so much in the past, for people who remember, was that Nicolas Cage was in his prime. He was a really big blockbuster, actor, and Travolta was also really popular in his time. And it was like getting the two giants of the time to meet and sort of like play each other, which was fun to see that they had to play each other. I thought that was an interesting take. But if we were to take that idea today, I was thinking, what celebrities have the clout that those two celebrities had at the time? Especially today, nobody really cares about celebrity as much anymore. Nobody cares. Like, what are we going to do? Like Amber Heard versus Brie Larson? That would be fun. If they did Face Off, where Amber Heard cuts her face and replaces Brie Larson, and they're like fighting each other. That might be fun. Just to see, Amber Heard without a face would be fun. Scooby-Doo meets Skeletor. I think Scooby-Doo did meet Skeletor. Scooby-Doo's met everybody. They met Batman. Gay Travolta versus straight Travolta. Dave Filoni meets Ahsoka gone wild. Yeah, that would be fun too. Ahsoka gone wild, guys. Um, yeah, I'm not really caring too much about the Face Off movie. I think that's one that's probably gonna hit the theaters or just go straight to streaming sites and just come out. Nobody will care because nobody cares about any of the actors anymore. So they'll probably just get two random actors. Like I said, the main reason that was fun was they got two big actors of the time. They were the hot actors of the time. Where now, who do we have that we really want to see fight each other or have that we don't care because we don't care about actors as much anymore. I think the actors' clout or celebrity clout has gone down, and so we don't care as much. That's my personal belief. If you guys think I'm full of it, let me know. you guys shall. I know you will. But what I am excited for, guys, and this is what I'm happy to announce, is that Adam Wingard is slated to direct the Thundercats film, and I don't know when it's supposed to come, but Thundercats for me is like my jam too. I've got Godzilla's my jam, but Thundercats is really my jam, and I'm excited. I've been wanting my whole life to see that. Now, the reason why I'm excited that he's directing this as opposed to anybody else is because of what I read in an article, and I'm not going to reread it, but I'm going to tell you the gist of it. Sorry, before I go, Paul Higgs says it'll all be over if Brie Larson takes shoes off. Looks like she's been playing soccer with bowling ball. Well, I think it would be funny if Brie Larson, cuts her face off and then becomes Amber Heard, and then Brie Larson shits on Amber Heard's bed. That would be funny, and then just have a shit fest. It'd be just like, I shit on your bed, and then they shit on each other's beds, and they just build a giant shit pile of shit. The whole movie is fecal matter, and just a giant fecal matter fight fest, which is some people's fetish. So whatever. Yeah, guys. So Thundercats. The reason why I'm excited about him doing Thundercats is that he said, like in an interview, they were talking, and he said that growing up as a child, he wrote a 200-something page script as a child for Thundercats. It was his dream to make a Thundercats film, and for me, I love that as a guy who's also into films and movies, and also would have loved to been able to have, like, as a child. Can you imagine the thing that you love so much, and someone at some point in life, someone says you get to make the movie, and he says he loves it, and he wants to keep it pure, and he wants to keep it as close to the 80s as he can possibly do it. And he said he was picked on as a kid for his love for Thundercats, which is interesting because everybody had love for Thundercats, or his love for Thundercats might have gone a little too far. I don't know. Thunder pussies. But yeah, I really am excited for that, because for me to know that somebody has that much passion for something, even if he messes it up, I'm more excited to see someone with passion for something and fall on his face, but doing something that we know for a fact he was passionate about. Now, he says he wants to make it CGI, with a slash CGI mixed with cartoon. I don't know why he goes CGI cartoon and not CGI real. That's sort of odd to me. But he said specifically in his statements was that he didn't want Thundercats to look like cats. He goes, every time they've tried to make cats on screen, like humanoid cats, it's looked horrible, and he doesn't want it to be made fun of or be the butt of a joke. So he decided to go CGI with it, and I kind of respect that take, because after watching Wonder Woman 1984 and the makeup they did for her for Cheetah did look pretty horrible. Not to say they couldn't do better, because I have seen some amazing CGI trailers and stuff that people have done that made them look pretty sick. So I think it's possible to do it, but if he's afraid to because he thinks people are going to make fun of it, I'm okay with that. But yeah, I'm extremely excited because I'm just thinking about a guy like this who took, this was his first big blockbuster film, Godzilla versus King Kong, and I think he did a pretty good job with it. And so for this to be his like maybe his third going forward. I know a lot of people. He did Death Note. I think he did direct Death Note. If I'm mistaken, he directed Death Note on Netflix, and which a lot of people did not like, me included. But he didn't have the love for Death Note. Probably has the love as much as he does for Thundercats, and so Johnny Depp has Snarf, Death by Saber. Skeletor as Dr. Fellatio.
Yes, I will be Dr. Fellatio. It's hard for Dr.
It'd be hard for Skeletor to be Dr. Fellatio since Dr. Skeletor has no tongue. I've never seen Dr. Skeletor with a tongue. It's hard to do Fellatio without a tongue. So I don't know how Skeletor will do it. Maybe he'll borrow a tongue from Beastman.
Beastman, lend me your tongue. I need to do
Fellatio. Amber Turd. That would be great if he can keep it from being woke. Yes. Again, here's the thing about this. It's the studio, right? The studios are going to be there, and that's the whole point of this stuff. Is there's always studio intervention, and if the studio is like, yeah, well, we have to make it revolve around Chitara and this stuff, like, I could see that being a problem. But that's with every movie now. That's with every movie. And I am a little bit concerned with that, but seeing that I don't know who the studios is doing it. If it's the same studio doing this, then maybe it won't be so bad. So I'm hoping. And you know what? I think movies, not that they're not going to be SJW, but I think the level of wokeness, I think, might dip. I might be wrong. I might be optimistic. Might dip only because, they're no longer upset about Trump. So they're all like, puffing their chest about their victory in the left and in Hollywood. So they're not as angry anymore and want to, maybe not want to piss us off as much now that they got their puppet in power. So we'll see. But I'm hoping that's optimism. Very optimistic. I haven't seen. Is it the same studio that does Mortal Kombat? I think it's the same guy. So if it's the same guy doing Mortal Kombat and Warner Brothers Studios, but I think Warner Brothers, or is it? Hang on, I don't think it's Warner Brothers. Hold on. Anyway, I forgot the name of the studio. I know it's got that weird emblem on it. I forgot the name of them, but if they're doing it, I think it'll be less woke than normal. They've never been one for being woke. Trick or Treat Blair Witch. Yes. Was it the remake of Blair Witch or was it the original Blair Witch? I don't know which one he did. Trick or Treat, I love Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat was fantastic and needs a sequel. So I will say that. I love Trick or Treat. For those who haven't seen Trick or Treat, go watch Trick or Treat on Halloween. It's a must-watch Halloween film for me. So you guys go check that out. I love that one. Blair Witch, if it's the original, because I'm not sure who directed the original, so or the remake. I wasn't a big fan of the remake. I loved the original, but then the original was a new concept, a new idea. Probably doesn't hold up today. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited for that, guys. I really am. And I haven't been excited for many things. And I know there's still a lot of time between now and then, and a lot of things could happen, a lot of changes can happen. But I am excited for this because to see, Lionel go, Thunder, Thunder, Thundercats. Actually, you're right. He can't say ho anymore, right? He'll get canceled. Shit, they're probably going to change it. They'll be like, Thundercats, sex workers. And then like, that's the only way they'll do it. They probably can't call them hoes anymore. This ain't the 90s. Can't be calling them pimps and hoes. Unless he's got a gardening tool for specific. Vegas Lights, how's it going? Hail. We're talking some Thundercats. We're talking some Godzilla. Not exclusively, not together. Godzilla's not fighting the Thundercats, not just yet. I'm still waiting for the treatment for that movie to come out, but hasn't happened yet. So, guys, yeah, are you guys excited for that? Like, I don't know if you guys are really into Thundercats or 80s properties like that, and I know they've messed up so many things that I've loved, and but I am excited for this only because, and I promised myself after Thundercats Ho. The damn cartoon that came out, because I don't know what the heck that was. that they that I've sort of wanted them to leave it alone. Leave this stuff alone. Leave the stuff I love alone. You know, you screwed up Ghostbusters. You screwed up Star Wars. You screwed up Transformers for me personally. You screwed up Gem and the Holograms. And even though I'm not a big Gem fan, my wife is a great big Gem fan, and I had to hear her complain. So they screwed that up. I mean, He-Man is yet to be. The cartoon is yet. Oh, what happened there? I think YouTube is canceling me. Yeah, please don't screw this up and leave it alone. But knowing that there's a huge fan of the director is a huge fan of it, to the point where he made a 200-page script as a child, shows how much thought he's put into these characters, and specifically said he wants the 80s version to come out into, and knowing, listen, Godzilla, you don't get as like, there was so much 80s in Godzilla. I mean, the music, the movies. Robert De Niro as Mumra. Guys, sorry guys. I'm gonna stop you right there, DBS. I'm Adam, Shaney, I'm throwing my hat in the ring. I want to be Mumra. I want to be Mumra, okay? That's a voice that I've worked on for a long time, and I want to be ancient spirits of evil, turn this decayed form into Mumra, the ever-living. I've worked on it. It hurts my throat like hell. But God dang it. I didn't get to do the Skeletor. They got Mark Hamill, and then watch, they're going to get Mark Hamill for this because Mark Hamill's stealing all the jobs. But I want to be Mumra. I could be Lion-O too. I actually do that voice as well. New Line Cinema. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, they did. Death by Say. No Chitara will say ho and dance wop. Yeah, it'd be hilarious because in cancel culture today, right? If they can get rid of le pepe le pew, then just saying the word ho could be so offensive. Can you imagine the triggered people? How dare they? They just said ho like it's nothing, like it's triggering. I feel so triggered. Just so triggered all the time. I'm gonna go on Twitter and just talk about how triggered I am about the use of ho. It's just so casually thrown in there. It's just I feel offended. I'm offended for all the hoes. I don't watch them change it to a hoy or some nonsense. Like if they do, I will be so disappointed if they like Thundercats ahoy, like some nonsense, just because they don't want to be offensive. Oh my God! Now I'm depressed. Now I'm depressed. I'm not even going to do this anymore. I'm depressed. Forget it. All this talk, all this hype, and now I think that's going to happen. And it's really getting me down. Whatever. I'll just plug my ears and I'll make my own dub. I'll dub it myself. Just change it to ho. My God, if they do that, how silly is this world? How silly is this world? But anyway, yeah, I'm excited for it, guys. I really am, and I'm excited for any more Godzilla films. You know, because I'm really excited. Thundercats, oi! Yeah, he'll be Australian. Thundercats, oi! The director loving it would be a nice change. A lot of people working in Hollywood now know nothing about the properties that they're working on. Well, you know, it's like it's a taboo for some reason to have a director loving something, like or caring about something. Because what reason why that helps is that like when they change something and they get all offended, upset why the movie they rebooted just didn't do well, and they're like, well, we made it for kids, and it's like, no, you didn't. Stop lying. You made it because you want to introduce it to new kids. Sure, but you didn't make it specifically for them because you needed a backup plan in case the new kids snubbed their nose on it. So what you wanted to do is have your cake and eat it too. You wanted to reintroduce a new, like an old IP, because you know it comes, the logo comes with something else. It comes with a fan base. It comes with a following. And so because So this way you can make your money off the following, which hopefully that will sustain you while you introduce it to new kids. And so that's the problem. You want to make it, and then when we don't like it, you call us sexist, racist, homophobic, whatever, and then the kids, but we made it for kids, and as long as the kids like it, that's all that matters. BS. I call foul on that every time I hear anyone mention that. It just drives me crazy when they say they do it for the kids. You're doing it. You're trying to have your cake and eat it too. You want to have all the money. You just want all the money, all of it. And you do. You want to have the girls. You want to have the girl market and the boy market and the old 4-year-old nostalgic market and all these SGW market. You want it all, but you're not going to have it all. Can't have it all. And so beat it with that nonsense. Lionel and Chitara having doggy style sex. How can cats have doggy style sex, DBS? Come on, man. Think with your head. What's wrong with you? Cats having doggy sex. It's offensive. It's cat sex. It's doggy style. Cats don't do doggy style. They do kitty style. They bite each other in the back of the necks. and they go to town. I'm disappointed in you. James Earl Jones as Mum-Ra. No. I think he's a little too old now to do Mum-Ra. Did you see him in Coming to America? Did you see that? He did not. You could tell his age is just catching up to his voice. I don't know. I personally, I think you'd have to go with a really dark voice for Mum-Ra. I personally believe, but they'll probably go with some British actor doing this really low sounding voice for Mum-Ra. I'm Mum-Ra, the ever-living. Some British actor who probably is going to. I'm going to put my own positive spin on it, and instead of it being some better tone, over-the-top nonsense, it was going to be, yes, I am Mum-Ra, the ever-living. Which would be annoying. Santa Claus, ho, ho, ho. Yes, they're changing ho, ho, ho. And Christmas, guys, because Christmas is being canceled due to ho, ho, ho. It's just, it's either triggering or empowering. It depends on what day it is, or both at the same time. I'm triggered and empowered. Can't decide. Bradley Cooper as Tigra. Bradley Cooper as Tigra? I mean, I guess he can have anybody as anybody. Oh, you mean as the voice? I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't care. I want them to use new actors. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear established actors that I know. I'm tired of. I want to see new blood, some new blood in there. I want to see some new actors. Try new people. I'm sick of the same old people. I want to see some new guys out there and get the right voice for the right character, and that's it. It doesn't have to sound exactly what I'd like to see. They make it for my Gen X money, for my Gen X money. Yeah, exactly. They want our money, Gen X, but they don't get it. They don't understand the properties. They don't understand their love for it. And I think that's the biggest problem, is that the people don't try to understand why we liked the property. They don't understand. It goes back to the Ghostbusters 2016, right? When I heard it announced, I remember me and my wife, we had a bit of not an argument, we had a bit of a discussion about it. She was like, they're going to make it all girls. And I'm like, well, I guess that's the end of those girls. And this is before I saw the damn trailer. I said this, and I had a few discussions or kind of arguments with different people. I said that movie is going to come out before I even saw the trailer, before I even knew what it was about. Just the minute I heard the actresses who were involved and what they were trying to do, I said, say goodbye to those actresses. That's the end of their careers. And then they were like, why would you say that? They're brilliant actresses. They're funny. And I'm like, I'm nothing against the actresses. I think they are funny. I think they're hilarious. But I don't think that they're stupid for doing this film. They don't understand the love that people have for the Ghostbusters. They don't understand that the people who want Ghostbusters didn't want a reboot to begin with. So not only are you giving people a reboot that nobody wants, you're also force-feeding people a change in characters and a change in genders for no reason. And so everybody who wanted, who's in our generation, who grew up with, Ghostbusters, who grew up with Ghostbusters, both the cartoon and the films, we wanted part 3. We want nothing to do with a reboot. We want nothing to do with that. And so anything short of what we expect, which was that, you were going to have problems. Even if you let's just say they recasted all the Ghostbusters and put them all as like good, comedic talent of the time. Will Ferrell is Peter Venkman, and or they just Chris Rock is, or sorry, Chris Rock. The Rock is there, and just through all these names and characters that we know and love today, and put them in the characters, we'd still find a way to not like it because it's not what we wanted. We want the same character. So that in and of itself is going to have problems. Now you add the gender switch in it. Now you're really asking for problems. And you're like, what are you doing? You're like throwing these poor actresses into throwing them into the den of wolves. Like, dude, you guys are just killing them. There's no reason. They were never going to succeed. It didn't matter how good it was. And it wasn't good. It was horrible either way. But I knew even before the trailer came out that this wasn't going to be a good idea. I don't think anybody really did. Lexington Steel Panthro. DBS, you got a lot of ideas. I'd like to hear your thoughts, DBS. We should do a stream and hear all your thoughts on who you think. Samuel, what's with all these motherfucking the cats doing on my motherfucking planet? Him getting all upset. I would love to see him say that. No Patrick Stewart, please. Yeah, exactly. These characters get very overplayed, or even what's his name, Gandalf the Grey. I am Mumra. Do you have a living? Engage. Number 1, engage. Christopher Walken as Jaga. Listen, Lionel, I don't know what you're doing. You were a kid. Now you're an adult. You're the leader of the Thundercats, and you're playing with hoes. Why? I don't know. It's just a throw-in. Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's Tigra. Quick, Lionel, get down! Sure, why not? We could have a lot of fun with characterizations and who we think could be the... Actually, that's actually... we should have a whole stream of just making fun of what character... Stallone. Stallone is Sly. Hey, what are you doing? I'm going to chase you guys around the universe. What's wrong with you, It'd be great to see, but I want new blood. I want like some new blood, because that's we'll get to see a Thundercats litter box. Well, I hope the Thundercats movie doesn't turn into a litter box. That's what I'm hoping. just see Lionel and oh, Lionel, we're starting to fight Mumra. Sorry, Jaga. I've got to finish my number 2. That Lionel, too much fiber. The burbles will be fun in that movie. Yeah, I mean, listen, I would have liked to have seen. Do you guys like the idea of it being CGI and cartoon? Would you rather have seen it live action? I'm torn about that myself. I understand his reasoning for it. But I think I really wanted to see a live action. Maybe if this does well, they can then go to a live action next. We'll see. Because I don't know. That's still in my head. I'm like trying to figure out what he means by half CGI and half. And he's saying photorealistic CGI. By the way, he mentioned photorealistic. So maybe the backgrounds in photorealism, in the characters in cartoon form. Which I hope not. Maybe. I don't know. I think that'd be weird. Maybe it's too jarring. I don't know if I like that. I'm not sure if I'm a fan, to be honest, of that. But hey, I'm willing to give it a chance no matter what. As long as he's got the passion, I'm willing to hear it. Yeah, and I want to see other ideas with directors who have passion, for properties. Finally, get to do something, not pretend they have, like that man bun wearing douchebag who did I don't even know his name, who did Thundercats Ho.
Yeah, I used to watch Thundercats with my brother. My brother, I sat there. He was watch Thundercats.
Yeah, you guys aren't old enough to be watching it originally. You probably watched it when they remade it, like when they reintroduced it on some television or some Cartoon Network, whatever. And you weren't brought up with it, so you're just like, this is silly. It was a whole silly premise. It was ridiculous, and so I thought, what better way to make it more funnier just by making it into Teen Titans Go reboot with Thundercats. You know, and I hate Teen Titans Go, and I'll definitely hate the fact that they turned, you know, and they didn't even try. They just made it a complete spoof. They just took a shit on it, and I was like, dude, you know, the reason why a spoof works is if people understand the spoof and get the jokes, but because they know so well the original, and since the people who know the original so well that would understand the spoof are the people you're outwardly insulting, not going to work. There's the people who aren't going to tolerate that. So if you think you're going to get this new kids generation, we're going to get the jokes from the spoof that you're making, they're not going to get the jokes. So it appeals to nobody. How do you spoof something when the only person who gets the spoof is from the generation that you don't give a crap about, and you want to, you know, it doesn't make sense. I hope they don't look like the first version of Sonic. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. Lionel gets to chop, gets to get to the chopper. Get to the chopper. Dave Chappelle is the janitor at the Thundercats lair. Yeah, he'll be the janitor at the Thundercats lair, and they'll talk about what amazing, you know, woke movie it is. See, we have all these Black African American actors, and we have a lot of girls, a lot of women. There's a lot of women, and they're all like background extras. All the burbles are women, and they're just like, "Yes, we're so woke, aren't we? Just woke, drinking all the Coca-Cola." Anyway, guys, yeah. So I'm really excited for this. Face Off, not so much. I don't know if you guys remember Face Off at all. Not really for that. And as far as King Kong versus Godzilla, I really would like to see them go alien with that, and then they turn Mechagodzilla into some kind of mech suit that helps Godzilla, and that would be fun going forward with that. Yeah, I hope they don't end this. I really hope they don't end Godzilla versus King Kong on this. I would like to see it keep going forward. For all we know, the theater is dead going forward, so we don't know how that's going to happen. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for watching me. I know this is sort of something that I like and I'm into a lot, and I'm glad you guys decided to listen to me talk about my passion. For guys, I started off my live stream talking about my last video I did, which was Skeletor reacts to Robot Chicken, and unfortunately that got blocked, and got upset, got pretty much ticked off, kicked things, because they didn't block my last one, but they blocked this one, and I understand why they let my last one was fine, and people asked specifically for that, and so they blocked it. So I'm not going to be able to post that one if you guys are looking forward to that. But I will be posting a video shortly about Skeletor versus Karens in the wild. There's that one, and there's coming up hopefully on Wednesday, and then later on, maybe next week, I'm taking a stab at YouTube, guys. I'm pissed off at YouTube, and when you piss me off, I get even. And so I'm doing my kids commercial, 80s commercial video, where I'm taking a stab at YouTube. So that's something I'm working on right now, which I'm really looking forward to giving YouTube a nice little uppercut jab to the jaw for pissing me off. It's going to be pretty much, if you want the gist of it, it's it's just a commentator or narrator going, "Hey kids, you want to have a YouTube channel? Well, here's how you do it." And then I'm just going to toss a bunch of shit. So if you guys want to input on that and throw in the comments what pisses you off the most about YouTube, do it. Put it in the comments, and I'll incorporate that in my commercial to take the piss out of YouTube. Rob's Rule: you think the movie theater is dead? As it stands today, yes. I think it couldn't. I think could it be revived? I think not maybe the theater itself is dead, but I do think these giant screens might be dead, and maybe we'll have more independent theaters coming in the future. That would be something, and possibly even because of COVID, we might even see more drive-in theaters, which I would like to see because I just love drive-in theaters. So that I could see that. I think that I think the technology is there. If you guys don't have virtual reality, I mean, there's like one of those, PS4s or whatever, PSVR or one of those. They have a theater mode, which I watch a lot of movies in theater mode on PSVR, which I enjoy because it's got the surround sound with the ears, and I can watch it. It kind of hurts my nose a little bit, but I watch a lot of films now on PSVR, which kind of replaces the theater for me because I don't have to listen to some jerk on a cell phone, I'm at the theater, texting and with his light and whatever the hell he's doing. Transgender Godzilla versus Black Lives Matter Godzilla. We're already in the middle of that film, DBS. Already right in the middle of that film. How was the theater? How was it crowded? I didn't go to the theater. I streamed it. I streamed it at home. So I didn't get a chance to. The theaters in my town are still closed. Toronto still. They just locked us down again, and they're just so dumb, man. Oh, I don't even want to get into that. That's just a whole other live stream, and I ain't getting into that. But yeah, we're still closed, and they shut us down again, and we're kind of the people running our city is very incompetent, and I can't even right now. So I haven't been able to, can't even go anywhere. Like a theater is pretty much done. You can't cut your hair. You still can't, go to a gym. You can't go to massage parlors. I mean, real massage parlors, not the Thundercats. Ho! I brought it all back, guys. That's what comedians do. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna leave it there, and thank you guys until next time. Take care now. Bye bye then.